Hello there, English speakers, and welcome to a balsam poplar and some Russian dogwood that is preparing for winter now, and a mirror-like lake, the church lake. So I will enlighten your blind spots about some medicine propaganda, eggs behaving badly, and heating. But let's start by taking a big, deep breath. Very calm weather today. So I had 𝕏-Town.eu running yesterday, and I got some tips actually. It should be possible to rent a virtual server in a cloud solution. Unfortunately, I don't have any budget at all, so it only costs like $30, and of course a lot of work because I don't know exactly how to work on that, if I and how to set that up, and I don't need much resources when it comes to bandwidth or processing power, but there is 2 terabytes of data. That is the big cost, and then the system, the entire web server is programmed by me, so it's not something that is adapted to modern things, so that might be a problem, but well, I hopefully can get some solution eventually. So now you have learned about cloud solutions. That might be good, but also a modern computer would maybe also solve the problem very easily. Money and space is the problem to get a server running. If you want to sleep, I couldn't this morning, so I'm a little bit tired, but you can use melatonin, which you in USA, you can buy it over the counter, but there might be some problems with it. So they made a huge study with hundreds of thousands of people in it. It's not a randomized control trial, but they looked at people who had big problems with insomnia, but still it showed that those who have used melatonin to get to sleep, they did get much more heart problems. So 4.6% compared to 2.7% for the non-users of melatonin. Of course, if you can't sleep properly, you will be more likely to use melatonin, and if you can't sleep, you will also get more heart problems. But there might be something wrong by using this fake. It's a hormone that your body itself produces, but if you use this hormone, you get one kind of sleep. Maybe you will destroy for some other healing parts of the sleep. So it's not risk-free to use melatonin, as some people think. So I was thinking about, we have heating from a hole in the ground in my father's house that he rents out, not where he lives. But of course it takes a lot of electricity to turn this ground heat that is not that warm and to make it into hot water for the radiators. So it's not perfect, but we do have a lot of heat in the summer. So why not take that heat and warm up the mountain under the house, and then you will get it much more efficient. So there are solutions for this. Unfortunately, they are for large scale. So for just one house with 3 apartments, it's simply too small to efficiently store a lot of heat. But this is called borehole thermal energy storage. So you drill, the smallest solutions have like 20 holes with some meters apart, and then you have some heat catchers that is basically glass houses or greenhouses for water. So you heat up this water a lot, and then you pump it down into the ground. That will become 30-50 degrees warm, and then in the winter it's much more efficient to pump the heat from this much warmer rock. So that's what they do. And they do have installed this for big houses in Sweden, and also in Linköping, where I used to live, in the center of Sweden, center of South Sweden. They have a huge storage in the ground, where they are saving excess heat during the summer, and that is used to help boost their heating in the winter. I also looked here in what we call Gävleborgs län, the region I live in the south or the north of Sweden. In the industrial cities of Sandviken and Gävle, which are 20 kilometers north of Stockholm, 200 kilometers north of Stockholm, there they have a lot of heavy industries, which means that they have waste heat, and then they can sell the heat much cheaper. Here in Ljusdal, the heat is so expensive that my father didn't want to buy it, but produced his own heat from the mountain instead with a heat pump. So maybe they should build it here too. And this should be extra interesting if you are in an inland climate where you have really hot summers, but also really cold winters. And then you can just store the summer heat and take it up in the winter. And it might of course be a problem if you have permafrost that will totally melt, of course, if you have something really hot in the ground, but it will be amazing storage, and you can store heat for a very long time as long as you do it on grand scale. So X has deleted me for being not authentic. X does not delete accounts that are totally not authentic. Eyal Yakabi, famous for crying in Congress how hard it is to be a Jew just because people are opposed of genocide. So that brat, his account on X is now taken over by an intelligence service. So he is posting 200 times per day, which of course he doesn't. It's robots and a team that is posting that. I mean, it's one thing if you are Mario Nawfal. He is using his personal account for his business, which is presenting news. So of course it's not just him that is posting on his account, but he's open with that, while Eyal Yakabi is inauthentic when he is taken over like this. And he posts over and over again, ask yourself why Tucker Carlson refused to debate Ben Shapiro. So this is a propaganda message that is sick, and of course a robo message like wake up, pray up, as the Jack Pasovich, the very evil Jack Pasovich, is posting. X also, of course, fake their traffic by auto-loading on other websites links that people have not followed. And Max Blumenthal, he is allowed to be on X because he's a Jew, but he can only laugh at all the Zionist garbage that he's his feed on X is filled with. Also, there is an Insurrection Barbie. She's also not her, so she's totally inauthentic. And Jack Pasovich is posting over and over again, I saw a leftist murder Charlie. No, you didn't. Or do you have some footage that we haven't seen? So he's a lying piece of demon and should be totally ignored, unless you hate on me, of course. I don't think that these accounts should be deleted, because they do help us expose the behavior of the Jewish propaganda mafia. But they should have a big fat warning. This is not what it looks like. This is a lying garbage Zionist account. Mel is saying what I have been saying for a long time. Village crazy lady without an A. Vilge crazy lady. She's shadow banned, but I see her sometimes. Leftists are saying, no, we will not platform a white nationalist even if he is against Israel. Yeah, that's why the leftist pro-Palestinian movement, they are only interested in appearing good and virtue signaling and being leftist morons. They are actually helping the genocide to happen because they act improductively, unlike National Socialists. That's why the leftists aren't banned, while the real Palestinians that are exposing crimes from Israel, they get banned and get their videos deleted, while Greta can post bullshit that will affect absolutely nothing, almost. I will not criticize Greta, but the leftists, they are useless. They should stop be useless and be more National Socialist, maybe, if you can put it that way, and especially not be afraid to be called that. That is retarded. There was a Jewish school in New York that had gotten a lot of swastikas painted at them. So, of course, anti-Semitism is screamed by all the communists everywhere. And the community note said, no, generally when there is a hate crime like this, it's a hoax. So there's a website called Hoax Hate Crimes. So they list a lot of hate crimes that were done by the victims themselves. It's very common, especially, but not only, by Jews. But I have to compliment this New York City school. They actually have taught the students how to correctly paint the swastika. So good of them. It's not backwards or badly written. So they have learned their students something at least. Gordon Findlay. You probably haven't heard about him, but you have heard about Ozempic. So he's the leader of Novo Nordisk. And Novo Nordisk is producing Ozempic. And they were in the White House spreading this poison that has generated 2 billion worth of lawsuits because Ozempic is very dangerous for you. The entire point of this medication is to destroy your stomach systems so that you lose weight because you are sick, because you poisoned yourself. So he fainted, Gordon Findlay. So that's a good commercial for your toxic products. And he fainted in the Oval Office, where Trump was sleeping when Dr. Oz was talking about that if you are fat, you're more likely to be demented. They are at least connected. So that looks good for everyone. When he was fainting, this Gordon Findlay, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. escaped the scene so that we can't take stupid pictures of him and fainting big pharma bosses. Zero Hedge had an interesting debate. It's mostly interesting that they had the debate. I don't know. I haven't seen the debate. But it's about how much there are lies about World War II. And Daryl Cooper, I'm not a fan of him, but he was debating that. So interesting that people start to question all these Jewish lies. Elon Musk might get a little bit extra money, or actually extra stocks that are worth monies. So he can get $1 trillion if and only if Tesla's market cap increases from 1.1 trillion that it is now to 8.5 trillions. So he really has to build a lot of robots to make that happen. But it's possible, of course, and the plan here is to make Elon Musk have control over the company so that the Jewish mafia and, well, the financial mafia can't do stupid shit, because they do that all the time for idiotic reasons. They meddle in the companies. Byron Donalds, he's a Republican now, a representative from Florida. A typical Republican, he was a Democrat. But he posts about communism. So he says that communism didn't work in Cuba, it didn't work in Venezuela, and it didn't work in the Soviet Union or in Eastern Europe. Okay. Do you miss anything there? The world's biggest economy, China. Yeah, it seems like communism is working there, at least economically. And why is the economy so bad in Cuba and Venezuela? Might it be sanctions and blockades? Might be that, not that they have free health care. That was not what destroyed them. And of course, the communism in Eastern Europe, it was not perfect. On the other hand, they had some things that were goody, and then they started to get plundered after the coups that the Jewish world order orchestrated, so that they can plunder especially former Soviet Union that got totally devastated during the Yeltsin and the other leaders in the other Soviet republics, except the Baltic states that got conquered by European Union instead, which was not that bad as some of the states became. And of course, Byron Donalds blames Zoran Mandami, is it called that? But Zoran is not a communist and will not change the politics there too much, but still, yeah. The good news is that even on X, where they censor people, as you know, he got a lot of pushback with China, and even a meme about that the Jews are stealing the taxpayers' money in USA and following it to their crimes. And I don't have to add, for you who are listening to me, I guess, that socialism did work in National Socialist Germany, where the workers got it significantly better in the first 5 years. And if you want to have an authentic accounts, you should not post this crafted message, because Nancy Mace posted almost the same message. It was the same message, different words. that the other Republican also posted. So that's how they do it. They are not authentic and should have a warning label. This is a lying politicians that is just reposting bullshit from their handler. Candace Owens, she's more real. She might be a little bit nutty, but she's #1 now. So she gets 1 to 10 million views on all her podcasts. So that's good. She's calling out the lying people and the stonewalling people, and that they need to be called out and more people informed of this. The best thing she said yesterday was a story about a green hoodie. So it was a young man acting suspiciously in a green hoodie when Charlie Kirk got murdered, and someone said, "Oh yeah, that's me. I'm part of a sports team and we wear these green hoodies and we act like that. So that's totally normal for us, even if it looks weird for you." And that ended the conspiracy hypothesis that they had about him. They could do the same if you're the Turning Point USA and FBI. Release all the footage, the autopsy report, instead of answering angry to everyone asking very valid questions. And of course the worst one are the Zionists that are trying to steal the legacy of Charlie Kirk and avoid saying that he spoke about the stand down that IDF did on October 7 and about that he has to leave the Israeli cause. A heritage Jew, that is the Heritage Foundation, one Jew is working there. He's a former IDF soldier, so a child murderer. And he says that it's very bad now to be a Jew in Beltway, that is Washington, D.C., because of Heritage Foundation's president that said that, yeah, we kind of have to have free speech. So that makes it very difficult to be a Jewish lobbyist in Washington, D.C. So you can cry a little bit for this poor IDF child murderer if you want. I will not. And Candace Owens says that the Heritage Foundation deserves to be destroyed and replaced by something better. Mike Lee is pretty based, at least according to his Twitter handle. He's a senator from Utah. Generally a decent guy, but a Zionist. And when he comments about Charlie Kirk, he gets a lot of comments that are saying that no, it was Israel who did that. But speaking of Max Blumenthal, he can post his anti-Israel message because he's a Jew and he doesn't risk to be banned. And Laura Loomer, if she's a Jewess, but she's saying that, and then they don't dare to delete her. So if she's just lying about being a Jew, I can't criticize that. Maybe I should do that too. And then I can say what the F I want and cry anti-Semitism to everyone who is against me. So maybe I should dig up some Jewish ancestor and then go full Jew on the Jews and other criminals. But Laura Loomer and Dinesh D'Souza, if that's his name, they are maybe the best psyop ever. Pretending to be Jews, well, Dinesh is pretending very badly because he's very Indian. But they pretend to be Jews and they make Jews look very bad. So maybe they are working for, I don't know, some anti-Semitic organization of some kind. And we wish that Dinesh D'Souza have a nice Hindu event on Mar-a-Lago every year that they have just started to have. So if you are a Hindu Zionist, you are really stupid. If you think that the Opium Wars destroyed China, the opium in India was way worse and started some 100 years earlier, when the Jewish East India Company, that for example, that for some reason called themselves the British East India Company, even though it was Jewish, they enslaved and they basically turned India into the first communist state run by a private company. And then they try to export that success to China with the Opium Wars. Normal people generally try to solve problems. That's what people try to do, and build stuff or something like that. While the Jews, not all Jews, and many others also, they spend their entire time trying to figure out how to manipulate others, because that's how you get power. That's the easiest way to get power, and everyone needs to be able to manipulate or at least persuade others. Otherwise they will steal everything you solve or everything you produce. To be self-critical though, I am doing that too. I'm spending all my time. Maybe I will set up an Elftown server, but mostly I try to figure out how people are manipulated. But I try to promote the ones who actually are producing something, which is being good, and not trying to destroy them. So that's the difference. The problem is that I don't have enough reach to influence people, and I get fought by platforms like X. But if I get enough support, I can promise that I will be 1,000 times more effective than Mark Levine is destructive. So that's my promise to you if you promote me. My friend Jocke, a friend of the channel, he saw a newspaper. It's called Världen idag, the world today. So this is given out by they are called not exactly Pentecostal, but related kind of church. It's read by a lot of Pentecostal Christians. So in this publication, they are talking about how much wonderful things that Jews have done to Sweden. Very important Jewish history. So let me explain what the Jews have done for Sweden. You have David Schwartz. He moved from Poland to Sweden to start the multicultural project. So that's one. Then you have Olof Aschberg. He moved from St. Petersburg and helped laundering the stolen Tsar gold and tried to make a communist revolution in Spain. And he also spread, both his offspring and himself tried to spread communism in Sweden, because that's what Jews do. Not all of them. Some are neocons and genocidal maniacs in other ways. And Zionists, of course, murdered my king's godfather, Folke Bernadotte, in Palestine. And Raoul Wallenberg was murdered by Soviet Jews. And nowadays our government, they have too much money, so they give $10 million to the American Jewess Barbara Spectre, and this Bond villain got this $1 million to promote the Jewish identity by multicultural communism and murdering of Folke Bernadotte. So that's the Jewish history in Sweden. Some of it, probably way more than I just said. So we'll see. The point here is that the Pentecostal churches are now heavily targeted by Jews, as Kenneth Owens and Mel have been digging into. They really try to, well, enslave them with Jewish propaganda. So be aware of that and have a nice Friday.